Fractured headlines here. Killing two birds with one stone. We're going to take a little walk, get some exercise. That's a good thing. Also, we're going to talk about America's #1 domestic terrorist and his gang, Donald Trump. This morning on CNN, there was a report which featured the sheriff of Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, which encompasses Charlotte. And Charlotte is seeing ICE agents and Border Patrol in its town rounding up folks on a somewhat indiscriminate basis, based, of course, on skin color and general suspicion of Latinos. And it's having a very chilling effect on the town. Businesses are seeing a decrease in traffic. People are afraid to go out in the public and be seen, especially if they are brown in color. And it's been a general disruption of what's going on there. And that's something that's gone on in other parts of the country as well. The attempt was made to terrorize Chicago recently. Chicago residents have had some creative ways of dealing with it, of repelling it. But there's no doubt about it. If you want to talk about terrorism, you need to include Donald Trump and his ICE agents in any rational discussion of domestic terrorism. It's been reported that many of the people who are rounded up, many of the people whose car windows are broken, many of the people whose peaceful existence has been disrupted by Trump's goons, his ICE agents, turn out to be actual American citizens. So their rights are being violated. And of course, even for those who are not American citizens, due process in the court of law is being routinely ignored, and people are being shipped off to faraway places like El Salvador and other places of detention. Make no mistake about it, folks, this is terrorism, pure and simple. If we are to wage a war on terror, we need to start at the top. Who's the #1 terrorist at this time in the United States? I would argue that'd be Donald Trump. The sheriff of Mecklenburg County, which, as I said, includes Charlotte, told CNN this morning that he had no idea that ICE agents were coming or how long they would be there. There's absolutely no coordination with local law officials, with local law enforcement in this latest disruption of a community. And it's not hard to see which communities are being targeted. Cities like Charlotte and Portland, which tend to lean to the left and have Democratic leaders, are going to be strongholds in the 2026 midterm elections of Democrat voters. And the groundwork is being laid to occupy those cities and discourage people from going out and voting. It's a transparent ploy by our terrorist-in-chief, Donald Trump. You could also say this is all just a massive distraction from what's going on with the Epstein files. Every bad thing that he does distracts us from the fact that he has done his level best to keep those files from being made public. And it's no secret that he had a strong friendship with Jeffrey Epstein for many years, and in fact has been labeled as Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Now, of course, he's backpedaling furiously, trying to avoid any association with Epstein, and has even tried to shift the blame for that, shift the focus, the emphasis, shift the attention toward Democrats, talking about opening an investigation into Democrats who were involved with Jeffrey Epstein, because they were all his friends. All the Democrats were Jeffrey Epstein's friends. Now, that's pretty darn ridiculous. I mean, unless, of course, you want to get technical and say maybe Donald Trump was a Democrat back in the time when he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein and making those trips to the Lolita Island where he frisked about with young girls. Hey, until I see otherwise, until those files prove conclusively that Trump was not involved, I'm just going to assume the worst. I mean, he's been doing his best not to let those files get out in the public where we can see what's in them. So I think we can pretty well guess. We can assume that Trump was also one of the perpetrators. Hey, there have been, 26 women accused him of serial groping, of rape. I believe it was a 13 or 14-year-old girl lodged a complaint against him for rape. That charge has disappeared. And Jeffrey's a great guy, Trump said. Fun to be around. Yeah, likes beautiful women. A lot of them on the younger side. Translate, a lot of them underage. And we're going to see if Pam Bondi, Trump's chosen handmaid over at the Justice Department, the totally unqualified Attorney General, we're going to see if she will abide by the wishes of the general population and maybe even the Senate to release those files unredacted in full, so we can see just exactly who the troublemakers were, who the criminals were, and how deep the crime ran. And ultimately, whether Donald Trump was one of the guys grabbing those young girls by the pussy. Hey, it wouldn't be any big surprise, right? Wouldn't be any surprise to the folks who saw Trump step off the bus with Billy Bush, bragging about grabbing women by the pussy. The man has certainly fought long and hard to keep those files from being made public. So yeah, you've got all kinds of distractions. You've got the crazy Qatari jet that was donated and is going to be retrofitted supposedly for a library. God only knows why a library needs a jet. I thought libraries were for books and maybe CDs, but evidently the new requirement is that a presidential library also contains a jet. And all the endless creative grift, including mem coins and mem cards and, trading cards of him dressed up as Superman, all that kind of thing. And now the bombing of unidentified boaters near Venezuela, who he says were involved in the drug trade, but maybe, maybe not. We'll never know, because the Coast Guard didn't have a chance to get on those boats and take a look at who was on there and what was on there. It just got blown out of the water instead. So far, nobody's dragged any carcasses ashore or any bags of cocaine, so we're never really going to know what happened there. But hey, let's expand the discussion and also include Donald Trump as an international terrorist. I think the families of those who were killed aboard those fishing boats, those recreational boats, and possibly drug boats, will never know. They would consider Donald Trump an international terrorist. But for the purposes of today's discussion, I'd just like everybody to focus on the fact that Donald Trump is a domestic terrorist. He's causing a lot of grief and a lot of mayhem in American cities. And while we're on the subject, ICE, it's my understanding that ICE has large signing bonuses, what, $50,000, and loan forgiveness, and a good salary. How about giving a $50,000 bonus, a signing bonus to teachers instead? People who do some good. Or maybe a $50,000 signing bonus for nurses. There's a nursing shortage. How about giving that money to the nurses? Or even standard police officers. How about a signing bonus for guys who sign up to be a police officer in some difficult and challenging environment? Instead, we've got these goons. We've got these Trump terrorist lackeys getting plenty of dough, hiding behind masks, breaking windows in cars, dragging people out of restaurants, dragging people away from their jobs, separating families, causing mayhem, causing chaos in the cities. They are accomplices in Donald Trump's war of terrorism against American cities. And again, make no mistake what it's all about. He's not targeting Republican cities. You don't see him down in, you don't see those ICE agents down in Shreveport. You don't see him down in, Birmingham, Alabama. You don't see him anywhere that the Republicans are likely to carry the vote in the midterm elections in 2026. The focus is on cities that are likely to vote for Democrat candidates. That's what it's all about. Cause a pretext, incite violence, rile up the people, cause them to make a mistake. So far, we've seen some magnificent responses, including Portland, with the people dressed up in the animal outfits dancing. Hey, who can arrest those guys? Who can harass those guys? That's a very creative response, something that should be emulated around the country. But at some point, impatient protesters are going to probably take the bait and engage in physical violence with the ICE agents, and then that's when Trump gets what he wants. Then he can point to that and say, look, these cities are indeed violent. They've put our ICE agents in danger. Never mind that the ICE agents should be at home on their sofas watching afternoon TV soap operas or rejoicing over the fact that they are January 6 defendants who were pardoned and had a second shot at life as Trump lackeys working for ICE. I don't know if we give enough consideration to who the actual terrorists are in this country. And at this point, folks, you don't have to worry about ISIS. You don't have to worry about foreign terrorists. It's the domestic terrorists from the White House down who are causing the most amount of grief in our country. So let's just see what happens in the future. Is Donald Trump going to get his comeuppance? Is he going to be revealed as one of the disgusting pedophiles being concealed, being hidden behind a shield of privacy, a shield of secrecy in those Epstein files? I think so. I thoroughly believe it. I have little doubt that we're going to find out that Trump was one of the bad guys, unless, of course, Pam Bondi does her best to shred documents and delete videos and destroy and hide evidence. We can see that the Attorney General, who is supposed to be impartial, the impartial head of the Department of Justice, is instead a Trump employee, much like the Supreme Court, which gave Donald Trump immunity from consequences for his actions. This is a dark time in American politics when the Republicans control the House, the Senate, the White House, and even the Supreme Court. So will there be any justice Will the terrorist in chief finally be brought to justice for his deeds? Stay tuned. Let's find out. I hope he does. I hope he is held to account. Hey, with just a few ramblings and a few musings, this is Fractured Headlines, and we'll catch you on the next video. Hey, if you like what you're hearing, nobody would object if you hit the like button, the subscribe button, or even made a comment. If you don't like what you're hearing, so much the better. Make a comment and we'll talk about it. In the meanwhile, everybody have a fantastic day.